I had like very low levels of estrogen, and like intense exercise is like bad for estrogen. Does it mean I can't run ever again? Absolutely not. It's all about like getting yourself to a base, of, like a place of more like homeostasis. So like we might recommend, hey, like, why don't you try yoga or Pilates for a couple weeks, and then give you updates on saying, okay, now you can start to think about adding it back, but like don't go from 0 to 100 in, one day, but like start adding it back, 3 days a week, see how you feel, if all works. And your body is amazing at adapting. I think what we just ask our bodies to do a lot, and it can't, it can't always handle that. And that's why then like our hormones and health go to sort of haywire.
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast. I'm Stephanie May Potter, and I'm here with my co-host, Marnie Marmette.
We created the Art of Living Well podcast to empower you to live your happiest, healthiest, and most authentic life. Each week, we will bring you inspiring and motivating conversations covering health and wellness topics, including fitness, mindset, food, travel, product reviews, and strategies from a variety of experts, including our own bank of knowledge.
We are excited to educate, motivate, and inspire you to change the way you perceive health and discover your art of living well. Get ready to feel inspired. Hello and welcome to episode 94 of the Art of Living Well podcast. How are you guys doing? It's officially fall, and after a glorious warm summer in Minnesota, I am excited that the temperatures are cooling off a bit. And Marnie and I both love the change in seasons, and we love wearing cozy sweaters this time of year, along with seeing the changes in the leaves and all the beautiful colors, and of course, enjoying seasonal foods. So we just finished our fall 7-day functional medicine community liver detox, which came at just the perfect time as we wrapped up a wonderful and fun summer. And this community was so amazing. We had a lot of new people join our program, along with several alumni. And Marnie and I both love supporting and coaching people through our detox program and really watching the amazing transformation and awareness that our clients have by the end of the week. And the sense of accomplishment that comes from completing this liver detox and doing something so wonderful for your body is truly a gift. And it also allows people to really tune into the effects that certain foods have on our health, such as digestive issues, low energy, mood, skin, sleep, etc. And often people realize that when they remove certain foods, that symptoms that they believed were normal went away. So we run this liver detox quarterly. So if you missed this one, make sure you follow us, get on our email list, which you can do through the link in our show notes, so that you're the first to hear about the next one, which will be in January to kick off 2022. And finally, before we kick off today's episode, we want to ask that if you are enjoying this podcast, if you could please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcast. It takes just 2 minutes, and doing so really helps us reach more people so that others around the world can benefit from the inspiring conversations and resources that we share every week. And of course, if you're enjoying this episode, we'd love for you to share it with a friend, a family member, or anyone who you think may benefit from this information. So today, we are so thrilled to introduce our guest, Allie Egan. Allie is the founder and CEO of Veracity Selfcare, a next-generation beauty and wellness brand empowering women to understand the connection between their skin and their broader health through at-home testing and a holistic, data-driven approach to skincare. Their products are at the forefront of clean beauty, excluding all endocrine disruptors and safe for all life moments, including pregnancy and breastfeeding. Prior to founding Veracity, Allie was the CEO of the women's fashion brand Cynthia Rowley, where she led the transformation to direct-to-consumer and more than doubled the business in 2 years. Allie has extensive experience in the beauty industry through her time at some of Estee Lauder's best brands, including Origins, Clinique, and La Mer. She also has broad consumer experience through her time as an investor at L Catterton. She holds a BS in Finance and Foreign Affairs from the University of Virginia and an MBA with high distinction from Harvard Business School. Allie was inspired to create Veracity after years of seeking answers about her own skin. Frustrated from trying to heal persistent dry patches on her face, her aha moment came when she tested for fertility issues. After suffering for 3 years, she learned that she had an underactive thyroid, which was the direct cause of her skin issues. So that is why Allie founded Veracity, to give you the tools that she didn't have and the knowledge she believes all women should have. Her new company is a solution that uncovers the root cause of issues, big and small, and she offers proactive steps forward and puts you on a path to better skin and better overall health. Today's conversation is so insightful and empowering as Allie inspires you to take control of your own health. We unpack so much in this episode, including how her new innovative company, Veracity, will help you get to the root of your skin issue through a simple at-home lab test, which is a very progressive approach to skincare. Marnie and I have both done this test, and we love the company's holistic approach, which you'll learn about during this episode. Allie is an incredible wealth of knowledge when it comes to understanding how our hormones play a direct role in our skin and our overall health. Allie talks about hormone disruptors that are in many prescription and over-the-counter beauty and personal care products and how they can impact our skin as well as our overall health. She also shares how other products that we touch and use on a daily basis, like plastic cups and containers, even the receipts from the store, can negatively impact our hormone health. We're excited that Veracity's new scientifically clean and endocrine disruptor-free skincare line is officially launched. All of their products are designed to treat hormonal imbalances and are created to work with your unique biochemistry. Allie believes that healthy skin is balanced, nourished, and radiant from the inside out. And while there are no quick and easy fixes to health, you will learn many tips that will provide hope and allow for progress on your journey to find your art of living well. So without further ado, let's dive right into this inspiring and fun conversation with Allie Egan.
But first, a quick word from our new sponsor, The Healthy Place, an online and brick and mortar supplement store based in Wisconsin. We know how overwhelming and confusing shopping for vitamins and supplements can be, and many people start taking supplements without understanding what their body needs. It is so important to ensure that the supplements you're taking are high quality, free of common allergens, GMOs, and third-party tested, so you know that what you are putting in your body is actually what it states on the bottle. We recently sat down and chatted with the founder of The Healthy Place, Tim O'Brien, whose mission as a company is to impact, empower, and educate every customer to learn, grow, and create a lifelong foundation of health and wellness. Both Tim and his wife and co-owner, Becky, strive to inspire their customers to make healthy changes that will impact every area of their life, and we couldn't agree more with their values.
One of the things that sets The Healthy Place apart from the other places that you can buy supplements from is their team of wellness consultants who are ready to help you find the highest quality product. They won't just find you a product for what you believe you may need. They ask questions to understand the underlying condition that you're trying to address, and they really guide and educate you on your journey to find wellness. And now they have an online chat feature that duplicates the level of service that you get from their in-person store, allowing you to receive personalized service from the comfort of your home. Some common ailments they love helping customers address include chronic pain, stress, anxiety, sleep issues, and even energy and immunity. We were so impressed with their genuine desire to help educate and motivate their customers to get to the root of their issue and address it in a very holistic way. Another benefit we love about findyourhealthyplace.com is that they carry many different vetted brands so that you are not stuck with one brand or product to try. So head on over to findyourhealthyplace.com and chat with an online wellness consultant. You can use code LIVINGWELL for 30% off the full price of your supplement purchase.
Hi, Allie. We are so excited that we connected with you on Hey Mama, and we're really looking forward to our conversation today. So everyone has a story, and we would love to hear your journey on how you came to found Veracity after seeking answers about your own personal skin issues.
Yeah. Well, hi, Marnie. Hi, Stephanie. So happy to have met you through Hey Mama and to be chatting now. I love what you guys have done with your platform and your podcast. So, um, I guess I'll start out and just give you a little background on me and just how I got to this sort of entrepreneurial journey because it wasn't so intentional. But my career has been in sort of the beauty, fashion, wellness world. First, actually, as an investor, very quickly realized I wanted to actually be on the company side and be building things and not just an advisor. So I transitioned and started working for Estee Lauder companies. I worked for three of their big skincare brands, Clinique, Origins, and La Mer. And then I left Estee Lauder to go be the CEO of the apparel brand Cynthia Rowley, which was just an amazing experience, taking an iconic brand like Cynthia and helping her really build like a direct consumer business. So we launched her website. We opened our own stores and really took what, I don't know how much you remember about the brand, but it used to be sort of more like a whimsical sort of more kitschy, and then really built into this like elevated apparel brand. And so I was really proud of what we did there. So I didn't like have any ambition. I mean, I'm definitely not an influencer. I was never just going to start another skincare brand because, as we all know, there's like a million skincare brands out there. But it was really like through a personal skin and health journey that was going on in the background of my career that ultimately led me to the idea, and then the just like personal passion and need to do this. So just on that, like so many women, I'd grown up thinking I had oily skin. I used, all the oily skin stuff, and just it seemed like one day out of quite frankly nowhere, I started getting these dry, flaky patches above my eye, and couldn't figure it out. I ended up seeing my dermatologist a few times, of course, like a fanatic, like Googling everything that I could possibly think of to try to get answers. And, both sources just told me like, oh, it's contact dermatitis, like something is irritating your skin. You need to stop using cleanser, stop using moisturizer, et cetera. Well, I did all those things. I literally did like basically an elimination diet for my skin, and nothing was the culprit. And so I basically dealt with this for 3.5 years where, sometimes it would get better, but like mostly I was just getting really good at covering it up with makeup. And it wasn't until what seemed completely unrelated. I had been trying to start a family with my husband, and we weren't having success. And so I went in for fertility-related hormone testing. And right away, they uncovered that I had an issue with my thyroid that was also affecting my estrogen. And of course, like I'm just doing every research I can to, try to get pregnant and figure that whole thing out. And so what I have hypothyroidism. I have Hashimoto's, which is a form of hypothyroidism. And, through my research, like very quickly uncovered that it's like very well established that one of the symptoms of it is these dry, flaky skin patches, like even directly where I was having them. And it was just the sort of beginning of that like aha/frustration moment where I was like, my goodness, like I've worked in skincare. I'm seeing a doctor, like I am actively trying to get answers. And yet, I feel like as women, we're just so told like, like anything that's even remotely hormonally related, it's just like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like just, there's no answers given, right? Whether it's hormonal acne or PCOS or these, real big, important health issues. And so, I had obviously experienced it myself and just thought, wow, like if I were able, I was trying to get answers to my skin problem. And so I wanted that, but also like if I were able to get insights into my health and what that meant, like I truly believe that like I wouldn't have had to go, like I ended up going through IVF and like the whole thing. And I think if I had known 3.5 years earlier that I might have had an issue, like I would have done what I ended up doing, getting on medicine and changing my diet. And like, I've never had my skin issue again. And like, I think I, could have had a different fertility journey as well. And so, So that's sort of what became, I was like, I love my job, but like this, I really feel like, I can do something different where we're really merging the worlds of healthcare and skincare in a way that like brings true value to women's lives. And so, that's what we're trying to do at Veracity.
That's so powerful and profound, like what your story. I think so many people can relate to, the dry, flaky scalp or the dry, flaky patches and the, hormonal acne and all these different issues that people have. And I think it's wonderful what you're trying to accomplish.
Thank you.
And just the fact that you took this, these challenges that you had in your personal life to help others, right? And it's through those challenges, I feel like you will make such a huge impact. And so I'm excited to share Veracity and everything that you're doing with our listeners today. And I think, like you talked about the hormonal issues, like I think growing up, especially as females, right? It was like, oh, it's just hormones. So take this pill or put this cream, a topical cream on your skin. And I remember from a very young age going to the dermatologist for acne and for eczema. And it was just creams and pills and all sorts of things that were put in my body, but never addressing the root cause, which is what you're doing. And that's so much of what Marnie and I talk about on this platform is getting to the underlying root cause to then be able to make some changes and use products. Yes. And like you mentioned, your diet and lifestyle, which I know is all what your company is about and their mission.
Yeah. So. No, I mean, like, how are we ever supposed to get like, it's great that a pill or a cream can give you results, but like, do we really want to be dependent on that pill or that cream forever? And if we don't like get to the root cause, we never will. And the other thing that's crazy to me is like, women go to the dermatologist, they have like a 5 to 10 minute appointment with their actual, physician, and they're just not even given like the right information to help to make their personal decision, whether it's, good to go on spironolactone, or maybe it's not like the best, solution for them. Maybe they should try some other things first. And so, I think as a mission, we're really just trying to bring this like power of like whole health thinking and like really, like a holistic medical approach to beauty and wellness to empower women to understand the connection between their hormones, skin, and overall health, and then make the best decisions for them personally, which sometimes could be going on a prescription medicine, sometimes could be, just changing their diet or exercise routine or whatever. But giving them the knowledge to make that choice.
Yes. Well, you're empowering them, right? With information and helping them to educate themselves.
So let's dive into the product. So, tell us about Veracity and how it all works.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, which is always hard to do, Veracity is a totally new type of skincare and wellness brand that, we say is really revolutionizing the way we approach caring for your skin. So instead of treating symptoms, we do help you get to the root cause through the first ever at-home skin and health test, which is a super easy saliva spit test, kind of like 23andMe, which I know a lot of people have done, or you spit in a tube and you mail it back, and you get a comprehensive insight into your hormones, your pH, what it means for your skin, the products that will be right for you, as well as insights into your overall health and the root causes, and then personalized recommendations on how to treat those. So specific diet, lifestyle, and supplements that can help you really rebalance those hormones to get better skin, and then obviously better health overall. So obviously that's the part that's revolutionary. And then, we're also, we wanted to marry the diagnostic. So like understanding where you're at and what's right for you with the actual solution. So, we have a line of skincare, which is launching in June. And it is amazing because we've done a real scientific, again, whole health approach to it. So we worked with a PhD in hormonal health. So all of our products, both the formula and the packaging, is verified endocrine disruptor free. So in layman's terms, that means it won't interfere with your hormones, which is crazy because a lot of, non-clean brands as well as clean brands do have ingredients that are well known to just actually disrupt your hormones. Like soy is a very well known estrogen that's used in a lot of clean skincare brands. But we really wanted to take the science behind it and really dig into that. And so, I think it's this sort of 2-part solution of like understanding where you are, and then getting real, real products that actually help you get the results you're looking for, is what we want to, deliver to our customers.
That's so exciting.
I know it's like this personalized approach to your skin, and I think people are getting more into this biohacking and just personalizing diet. And I think skin is obviously the next thing to focus on. So can you talk about how the results help you figure out what's going on in your body? I know there's very specific hormones that you're testing.
Yeah. So we test
and talk about the different markers.
So we test 5 key hormones. So, and look, obviously, like, I gave my background. I am not a practicing physician, although I will say I've done a lot of research myself, both for my own situation and then obviously the company. But before I even started, actually, decided to leave Cynthia Rowley and create this business, what I did first was talk to literally hundreds of physicians across practice areas. So not just looking at dermatology, but also thinking about it from a whole health perspective. And so we ended up creating what is now our medical advisory team, which is obviously like a leading dermatologist, but also an OBGYN, endocrinologist, a functional medicine doctor, and a nutritionist. And work with them to say, what are the biomarkers that we should be testing? How do we test them? What is the research behind their relation to skin? And let's focus on making sure we're testing things that we then can give you the so what, right? So now what do you do about it? And ended up creating what is the Skin and Health Test, which measures estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, DHEA, and pH. And through these markers, we can give you real insights. I think it's always best to talk through examples. So in my example, I had very low estrogen, and estrogen has been proven to be linked to your body's ability to produce collagen and create a strong skin barrier. And so then we would, give you that information, also talk to you about the ingredients in our products that are going to drive changes for that. And then again, to give you some specific diet, lifestyle, and supplements that are going to help support that underlying, essentially estrogen synthesis, so that your body then is starting to create that collagen itself. I think the other really interesting thing that we've gotten some amazing feedback on so far is hormonal acne is obviously a huge one, right? I still get hormonal acne, right? And it's always a mystery. And I think, people either have no idea, or they assume it's male hormones, right? Testosterone, what have you. And that obviously is a big driver, especially in people with PCOS or on the spectrum of PCOS, when you have these high androgen hormones, which produce excess sort of sebum or oil. But there's actually a lot of women who, have low progesterone, and that also can also lead to acne, because progesterone is a natural anti-inflammatory hormone. And without those anti-inflammatory properties, your skin will sort of react to the littlest sort of disturbance. And then the treatment for one versus the other is different, both from a skincare perspective and a diet and lifestyle perspective. So the test will give you those sort of insights to say, okay, maybe I know my symptom, but I don't know what is causing that symptom, or then what the best sort of treatment for it is.
So can you give us an example, almost like a little case study of what you're talking about?
Yeah. So I mean, that's, on the progesterone side, for example. So if you were to have low progesterone, you're going to want to use, ingredients that are actually really helping you to stimulate that cell turnover. And that likely you'd be recommended our regenerating infusion, which really supports cell turnover and that like healing property. And that overall reduces inflammation, where if you were, sort of in the high testosterone, high DHEA bucket and suffering hormonal acne, you'd want to be using something we use actually, because all of our products are hormonally safe and so do not interfere. But like you'd be wanting to use our product that has willow bark, which is the natural salicylic acid, and essentially, clears out those pores and reduces sebum. So yeah, I guess that's a little example of what the difference would be.
And are the results saying like, go with this company, or these are a suggested, product line to use? I know your skincare is eventually coming out in the next week, I think you said, but are you making like specific product recommendations, or more like find a product that has willow bark in it?
So yeah, so we actually talk about this a lot as a team. So when we started this, from our initial pilot, we were giving people third-party recommendations because we were still creating our skincare line, and like it was important to us to say like people are going to go through this test and they're going to want results, and they want to know what to use today. And we didn't have those products yet. It is our belief that like, look, this notion of like hormonal health and safety and beyond, I think a lot of women, obviously myself included, like get focused on, caring for their health or using clean skincare when they're expecting, really is like the biggest time, right? Like I'm about to have a baby. Now I'm going to actually clean up my routine, whatever. But like this notion of like hormonal health and safety, and you're exposed to 85,000 chemicals a day that are like proven hormone disruptors, from literally the receipt that they give you at like CVS to, it's crazy, to, the dryer sheets you're putting in your laundry and everything else. And so, it's our philosophy that like, the worst thing you can be doing is then some of these things you can obviously try to minimize, but like we're going to be exposed to some of these and we shouldn't, run around scared. But what we can do is not voluntarily put additional bad stuff on ourselves. And so, the problem with recommending third-party products is like, you just can't vet them properly. And quite frankly, like that's the reason we created our skincare line in the first place, is we didn't see people like actually using the combination that was truly like hormonally safe. So we do recommend largely our products. We do give you resources for like, we're a startup and, a small company. Mm-hmm. So we have 6 products that we're launching with, where we will be introducing a ton more over time. But we understand that we don't quite make everything that you could want to use today. So we have our content side of our business called The Knowledge, which has it's all written by independent journalists, and we talk about some big issues like getting off birth control, what's that going to do to your skin, or perimenopause and how that affects you. And through that platform, we will also provide both resources and recommendations where we can't play at this point in time, to say like, look, if you really need solutions here's some options for you. And then hopefully we can create like our versions of those that are, even more effective and hormonally safe over time.
Yeah. Well, I just received my results back a few days ago. And I know Marnie and I both completed a test, which was, for everyone out there, super easy to do. I mean, I've done a lot of these at-home lab tests myself, and it's just a very simple saliva test. And the results came back pretty quickly within like a couple weeks. So I'm looking at the report right now, actually. And so there's all this information on here based on my results, a couple different ingredients that are on here, and, that would it be beneficial based on my hormone levels. And, there's some of them I've heard of, and I actually have some products. I was kind of pleasantly surprised. I was doing my own research then as part of this interview to say, okay, well, are the products I'm using, do they contain some of the ingredients that you recommended? And some of mine do. I have like an overnight resurfacing peel, then another product I use at night. But there were a couple of cool ingredients on here. There was the garland lily extract. And I'm going to maybe pronouncing this wrong, the cherimoya
that's right.
extract. which are different serums and moisturizers to use. So I was excited about this, and I can't wait to like ultimately when this episode drops, your products will be out there for everyone, and we'll link up all that in the show notes. But when we record this, it's still not out there. So then I assume like this report would have links to your specific products.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
So you got the super early bird version. And so all of this, when it goes live, then you log onto your customer account and you get to see this, and it would all like instantly link. So you could, it's shoppable and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay. And I love that this is like it's a holistic view of health, right? Like you mentioned. So it doesn't just include the products, which is obviously very helpful. And women are putting on like, there's a statistic out there of how many products the average woman puts on their skin every single day. It's crazy. But I also love that you talk about there's lifestyle tips in there, and it was like getting outside and obviously vitamin D and reducing stress. And even I think it was like pumpkin seeds, for zinc. And so it's just this like full picture of lifestyle and diet and skincare, and you're delivering all that to the consumer, which is great because there's so much confusion out there. So I just think what you've done is amazing. I know so many women are going to benefit.
That's out there, quite frankly, like it really does matter what's right for you personally. Like something that amazed me. I mean, I feel like I have like so many of these tidbits now, but biotin, for example, is like the holy grail of supplements for beauty, right? Everyone's like, oh, if I want better hair, skin, and nails, I should definitely like take biotin, because that's like what like social media and like the, Google has told us. Angela Lamb, who's our dermatologist on our team, is like, literally no women who are acne prone should be using biotin, because it's very well established in the medical research that biotin can actually make acne worse, right? So like, while biotin can be great for some people, like it's so important to understand like where you're at, to understand like what what supplements, what skincare, what are these things that are really actually going to be right for you.
Yes. And, I actually have a question for you, because there was one supplement, because you have a list in this report on supplements, and it was, I'm pretty familiar. I take a lot of supplements myself, but there was one on here that I had actually never heard of, which I'm super interested. It's the Femme Vitality. And so it talks about like fenugreek, which I know I've taken before when I was like nursing, and promoting free testosterone and estradiol. It even says providing other libido related benefits. So I thought maybe you could share a little bit about this one in particular, because I don't know if it's one that a lot of folks out there have. Yeah.
So
have heard
that's
about.
The really cool thing. I think how we've combined like these different practice areas, and like, when we were developing both the tests as like, as far as like what biomarkers we're going to measure, as well as the recommendations, like these all came directly from like both existing medical research and our advisory team, like literally saying, here's like, we have, I think there's like 3,600 unique combinations based on, a 6 biomarker test. And then the form you fill out that gives us other information to correctly interpret your results. And they worked through those different hormone readings and said, okay, here's the best supplement for you. So they really are, generated from real life doctors. And so, when we talk about supplements, we try to go like, for now, at least, we try to go simple but specific. So you get a multivitamin recommendation, which everyone should have, like a sort of well-balanced multivitamin. You get a probiotic recommendation, which again, we all know about gut health and the importance of, especially for hormonal health, quite frankly, is if you have problems with your gut, you're either not metabolizing hormones correctly, or it's throwing other things off that or will throw off that imbalance. But then we say, okay, now like here's one key specific supplement to you that's really going to help drive like the major hormonal imbalances that you see. And so I think Femme Vitality is a combination. It's really like a combination of herbs built from sort of traditional Chinese medicine. And so this comes from, Dr. Gabrielle Francis, who's our functional medicine doctor. And she's amazing, by the way, has literally been the doctor to the Rolling Stones and like a whole bunch of like, she was like the original, like, holistic medicine mind, I guess, if you would. And so it's a supplement that has some of these natural herbs and botanicals, but has real research behind it to show that it can, sort of support hormone synthesis in the right ways to rebalance, basically to rebalance your vital like sex hormones. So that's why it helps with like libido and all that kind of stuff.
Well, maybe you should order it, Stephanie.
Well, I think I'm going to.
So changing gears a little bit, I know you mentioned hormone disruptors, and I saw on your website that you had a recent article written about that. And I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about some ways that people can get rid of some of these hormone disruptors in their homes.
Yeah. So I think it's so just nuts that like, as women, like we're just only told about these things when they're like, stop the show kind of problems, right? Like, I think it's only being told like as big of an issue in the fertility community. And like, quite frankly, like when I was trying to get pregnant, I read this book like called It Starts with the Egg, which, is talking about like sort of egg quality, like months and years in advance. And the author, whose name I'm blanking on right now, but she's incredible and talks about these hormone disruptors that, are really prevalent. And so there are so many things from like our household cleaning supplies to any plastic that you then especially heat. So one of the biggest culprits is like you have a plastic cup that you drink out, you're trying to hydrate, right? So you drink water every day and you put that plastic cup in the dishwasher. The dishwasher gets really freaking hot and like melts that little plastic, and even like BPA free does not solve this issue. Obviously BPA free is better than non-BPA, but plastics are one of the biggest, known hormonal disruptors. So there are like so many little easy things. Like for me personally, like I've changed all my Tupperware to glass. So I like don't have any plastic Tupperware. I have a 9-month-old son. I actually feed him out of a glass baby bottle, like, because it's just, these little things that, if I, is drinking out of a plastic cup one time going to like kill you or ruin your skin? Of course not. But it's about the repeat exposure. And if we can do anything, another simple thing that I do is like, I literally don't take receipts. I mean, we all like throw them out anyway, right? But that's, again, it's plastic coming out of a hot thing. So it is like ripe with those hormone disruptors. And so I avoid that. The biggest thing obviously too, in beauty is just thinking about, even if you're not using all of our products, but it's like definitely taking out all of the major offenders, which a lot of clean beauty does. So that's like triclosans, parabens, phthalates, both from your skincare as well as your shampoo and body wash and all that stuff, because that actually goes over a much bigger sort of surface area, if you would, and gets into that. So just sort of elevating your consciousness around those things will help a lot.
And I think that these are great suggestions. I know Stephanie and I talk about a lot of this often. And like, even the one you mentioned about not using a plastic cup to drink water out of, so simple. Get yourself a glass bottle, stainless steel bottle, reusable, better for the environment, better for your health.
Exactly.
And yeah. I have been training my kids now for years. Take your hydro flask everywhere you go. I don't care if you're going to a friend's house for dinner, bring your hydro flask everywhere you go.
Right. I love that it's like dual purpose, right? Good for you and good for the environment. So like, why not?
Absolutely.
Exactly. And I think during the pandemic, people were BYO cup because, even if you got gathered outside, it's like, small little gatherings, everyone was bringing their own glass with them. So we'll just keep on doing that going forward. So again, another thing that you kind of mentioned was just like prescription medicines and things like that. But can you talk a little bit about the downside of using prescription medicines to alleviate skin issues such as acne? And I know you touched on it, but maybe a little bit deeper, or just prescription meds in general. And I know you mentioned that spironolactone.
Yeah, spironolactone.
I can't remember the name of it now, but as soon as you said that, I remember being on that multiple times throughout my life. Like I remember, I think in high school or college, being put on that. And then even as an adult, and I could completely forgotten actually until you said that.
So similarly, we have an article on our site. So that we wrote about like how to talk to your doctor about like, I think it's the 11 common dermatological prescriptions. And that ranges from acne to hair care, to Latisse for eyelashes and kind of everything in between. Cause I think like what's happened to me and what I know has happened to a lot of women is like, you know, you have this acute issue, right? You go into your dermatologist, you get to talk to them for 5 minutes. You've never even heard of spironolactone. So how are you supposed to ask them the right questions about it? And so, you know, we try to have these guides on saying like, here's an overview so that like, then when you go in, you can like use that time efficiently to say, okay, like, here are my questions to ask if it's right for me or not. But like spironolactone, for example, like it's an oral, medication that, is often used for acne, and it's it is a hormone disruptor, but like it can be right for you depending. And obviously we're not anti prescriptions or medicine at the right time, but it's an androgen suppressor. So it suppresses testosterone and DHEA, which it can just have other effects. So I think what's important for women to know, like it can actually, spironolactone specifically can also massively impact your potassium levels. And so, you know, there might be other diet considerations that you want to take at the same time that you're on spironolactone, or you just want to ask questions about like, what can I be doing, you know, with my diet and supplements so that I can wean myself off of it, because it's not safe for pregnancy. It's not safe for these other times. Like it's not a drug that you want to be on for like 10, 15 years. Like you want to use it because look, horrible acne is the worst, right? Like I like it can kill your self-confidence and just every part of your life. So like it's so great that there are like these amazing solutions that allow you to do these things. The other side I like to talk about is like, look, so Veracity, by the way, the name means like habitual truthfulness and a commitment to truth. And that's like what we're trying to do as a brand and platform. And like, you know, with hormones and health, like there are no quick fixes. It is not take this one supplement, tomorrow you'll be cured. And we want to be very upfront about that. And that's part of like, you know, your journey is like starting towards progress, not always absolute, you know, perfection. I think it's similar on the skincare side of like, look, we do non-prescription topical skincare, which look, we've invested. So all of our formulas are completely proprietary. We've worked with the best chemists in the country to create them, as well as this PhD in hormonal health. I've worked in skincare at literally, you know, La Mer. I know that our products work, but like, you know, they're not, if you have insane melasma that like, you know, no topical is going to be able to address that. And so we want to be upfront with people about that too, and say like, look, here then are the other solutions. Here's how a laser treatment works. Here's what the cost should be, or questions you can ask about it. So then you can decide like, do I need these more like heavy hitting solutions?
You are providing so much valuable information and resources. It's like a one-stop shop. Like you're educating and empowering the consumer, right? To walk into their doctor's office and say, hey, let's have a conversation. But I know, you know, the pros and cons to all of these potential medications or creams that you may recommend.
Well, and Allie, I'm wondering, are you giving the consumer this information in that report once they do the test, or are there other places that are they finding it on your website, or how are they getting that information?
It's a combination. So some of the things directly through the report, for example, like, we've had women take our test who had, like, again, we are not a doctor. We're not diagnosing anyone. We're not trying to say this is exactly what you're doing. But like, we've had women test who've shown elevated levels of testosterone and DHEA, which is one of the clinical signs of PCOS. So we tell them, like, hey, this could be a sign of PCOS. We recommend you talking to your doctor, and here's some information about PCOS. And then over time, like, so it doesn't, you get your test and you get your results and your initial report, but then over time you get additional personalized content and feedback, so that you can, get more resources and sort of, dig in further. So that will be sometimes links to our articles that are, relevant to you based on the results of your test, or even updates to your recommendations. So, one funny thing, I guess, about hormonal health that was, I don't want to say upsetting, but kind of upsetting to me. Like, I'm a runner. I've, very active, like getting my daily, dose of exercise. But like for me, like, I had like very low levels of estrogen, and like intense exercise is like bad for estrogen. Does it mean I can't run ever again? Absolutely not. It's all about like getting yourself to a base, like a place of more like homeostasis. So like we might recommend, hey, like, why don't you try yoga or Pilates for a couple weeks, and then give you updates on saying, okay, now you can start to think about adding it back, but like don't go from 0 to 100 in, one day, but like start adding it back, 3 days a week, see how you feel, if all works. And your body is amazing at adapting. I think what we just ask our bodies to do a lot, and it can't, it can't always handle that. And that's why then like our hormones and health go to sort of haywire.
Yeah, I can, Stephanie and I think can both very much relate to that. I've had that issue. I know Stephanie's had that issue. I still struggle with taking my workouts down a notch because they're so good for me mentally. But
well, and I think as women, we just push ourselves, and we think that we have to do the long run or the intense workout, but that's a whole nother conversation, right? But I have a question for you though. I know a lot of our listeners are parents with teens, and teens, including my own, struggle with acne. Can this test be done on a teenager, and what age? And, just any thoughts you have on the teenage
so
acne?
Legally, this can be done for anyone 18 and over. And like, look, I want to make it more accessible, but like, there's just like laws with healthcare that I think are kind of a little bit archaic sometimes. And we are using real CLIA, which is the sort of governing body, CLIA certified laboratories that run and process the results. So it is not just some kind of like, back end, like, kind of low key analysis, but real health analysis and report. That being said, like one of the long-term, I hope, benefits of COVID is like that we've really opened up like the awareness to how important like testing and proactive testing is, and that, regulations will get to a place where we can, offer the product to more people at the appropriate time. And honestly, like, it's just so silly because like every state has their own like mini rules that are, different and don't really serve any value to the actual like people or, whether it's patients, customers, et cetera. And so that, that's something that like just over time, I hope, we as the country can make progress on.
Well, and so with that being said, I'm also very much living in the teenage world with lots of my daughter's friends who suffer from acne. Are there any tips or advice that you would give a parent who has a child in that situation if they can't do the testing?
Yeah, I mean, you can talk to your doctor like about doing the testing themselves because they can do that. And like, again, we're still a startup, and so we're going to be adding more resources over time. But like, we will have an option in the future where you can sort of upload your results, and we can kind of give you the insights if you've already done like lab testing other places.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's not that these like options aren't sort of available to people. I would say like, also just hopefully the resources of reading about things from a sort of factual standpoint will give people the tools to ask the right questions of their dermatologists, et cetera, and get results. But like really honestly, I would say it starts with two things too, is like for me, like because I had like pretty bad acne when I was a kid, is like is it like our the skincare world has just like created this skin type thing, which like literally doesn't exist, right? Like no one has a skin type, like it's not like in your DNA that you're born with or whatever. Like we all know our skin changes. So to operate off that is crazy. And like, I know when I was like going through it, like I just literally used anything that was like for the oiliest skin, right? And so a lot of what happens to teenagers and adults alike is you basically like overload your skin, right? You end up stripping your skin of any barrier it has, and then it has no defenses. So anytime like dirt or irritation comes in contact, like you break out and you have issues. So I think, it's sort of getting back to basics and saying like, start small, like use a, focus on cleansing first of all. And then start with like one like heavy hitting treatment product. You don't need to lay on a bunch of stuff. So start with that and then sort of add on from there to see what your skin needs and can tolerate.
And will you have, when the skincare line comes out, you mentioned that there are, I think you said 6 or 9 products.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what type of products? And people can go out there even if they haven't done the test, I assume, and just purchase.
Yes, exactly.
Products.
So first of all, like, to us, when we think of like, we are really pioneering what I would call like relevant personalization, which is like what starts with you and your health. But we, again, didn't want to be gimmicky. Like I have lived in the world of skincare marketing for a long time, and there is a lot of stuff that's like not real. And so this notion of creating a bespoke product that's like, Stephanie's perfect formula that no one else in the world has is quite frankly, like it's silly and it doesn't actually drive results. And so we wanted to focus on like, we would rather put our money into the best product development, we spent a lot of money and time developing our formulas, rather than giving you, a bespoke skincare product that has, 0.01% additional hyaluronic acid that, you can't run clinical tests on and know what the actual efficacy of the product is. So that's all background to say our products are not bespoke and are designed to be the best solutions. And then from the test, you get to know that you're choosing the right thing rather than just choosing based on like, what the woman in Sephora told you or what some influencer you follow is using. But really our hero system is what we call our vital concentrates. And so those are our targeted treatments that are specifically designed to treat the effects of hormonal imbalance in skin. So we have 4 of those that we're launching with. A product treats hormonal acne and inflammation, a product that treats hyperpigmentation and melasma, another one for slow cell turnover and healing, and then the 4th for really hydration, dryness, dry patchiness, kind of like what I had. And then our other 2 products are part of what we call our BioEvolve collection. So those are a serum and a moisturizer that is like, look, you need the heavy hitters to get like results, but you also need to be thinking about like creating a strong skin ecosystem over time. So you're not like battling, your skin and then not really supporting it with the vitamins, nutrients, blue light protection, all that stuff that's like super important for long-term skin health. And so that's what those 2 products do. And the cool thing about them is we've used sort of the latest technology. So they're both biomimetic, which means the actual chemical processes mimic what your skin's processes do. So the same molecular action that, rehydrates your skin use in the products. And then they're also adaptogenic. So we use a few different ingredients, but one that I love is our snow mushroom extract, which can deliver unique levels of moisture to your skin based on what you need. So a lot of people with oily skin, for example, like don't use moisturizer or, because they're so scared of just like overloading it with oil. But these products allow you to get the essential moisture that you need, but like it's not delivering more to the underlying dermis than you need. So you're not like overloading the skin, if that makes sense.
This is so exciting. So these are coming out next week, right? You said at the time of this recording.
Yeah. So exactly.
So I'm wondering, where can people buy these products? Where can they find you? I can't wait to go buy them and try them out personally.
Yeah. So our website is veracityselfcare.com. You can also check us out and follow us on Instagram at Veracity Selfcare. That's VERACITY. So we're all direct consumer for now. So just come check out our website and see what's really going on with your health and your skin.
And we'll link all this up in the show notes.
Yeah, and I know.
Perfect.
Yes. And I know, Ellie, you have a special offer. There's a discount code to our listeners. So thank you so much. It's 15% off. So we'll link that up as well.
15.
Yes. And so you've shared so many just amazing tips and suggestions throughout this episode and things that people can do to, implement into their life immediately. So thank you so much for that. And our final question we like to ask all of our guests is, what does the art of living well mean to
I love
you?
this question because it was definitely a unique one. But so when I was thinking about this, I was like, well, I think it means like actually like listening to yourself and surroundings. And like, obviously, you guys are like very much in the wellness world, which, I am myself. And so it's about like establishing, good habits of, eating well and going for a run or doing these things, but not like living like a robot. And so really trying to listen to your body, your mind, and your spirit, and tweaking those day-to-day, functions or activities, to accommodate and really be your, most fulsome present self.
I love that. And yeah, I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly, actually.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes in this space, honestly, we can get a little rigid, like don't put that on your skin. Don't eat that food. Oh, it's not organic. And at the end of the day, you also have to live life, right? And not be like, live like a robot, like you said. So I think that's such a great reminder for everyone.
I have to remind myself a lot of times, but I try to.
But I mean, we all do, right? I know. That's part of life, is that we all get caught up in the day-to-day stuff, and we all have to take a step back and take a breath and give ourselves the reminders to be calm and stay present.
Definitely.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Allie. It's been wonderful having you on. Love what you're doing, and we're very excited for these products to come out. So we'll report back to everyone once we've had a chance to use them.
Have a wonderful day.
And,
Oh, well, it was great catching up with you. And thanks so much for sharing our story with your audience too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Art of Living Well podcast. We are so grateful that you joined us today.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or anyone else you think may benefit from this information. We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and tag the Art of Living Well podcast on social media.
If you want more inspiration in between episodes, you can find us on social media at theartofliving_well on Instagram and Facebook, where we will share snippets from our daily lives and our journey to living well.